Back in chapter 4, we had the motivating cereal study where we had a group of children, 80 of them, and they were asked to taste test cereal, which was the same in both boxes, but one of the boxes had cartoons on it. And so we were looking at if there was a preference for that box. And we'd done this through the randomization. We're going to revisit it through this lens of using the central limit theorem and the normal distribution to actually get our p-value instead. So what we want to do is conduct our test at a 5% level, determine if children prefer the cereal with the cartoon marketing. What we had tested for when we were doing this before was the null that said it was a 50% proportion, which meant that they're picking the two boxes equally, and then an alternative that more than 50% or over 0.5 prefer that box with the cartoons on it. Our p-hat value with taking 52 out of 80 is 0.65. Also checking our conditions, n times p0 would be 80 times 0.5. N times 1 minus p0 would be 80 times 1 minus 0.5. These are both 40, and so greater than or equal to 10 for both of them are conditions check out. And we can use the normal distribution inference instead of having to do a randomization test if we want. So our test stat is take your 0.65, and instead of randomization distribution and looking to the right of 0.65, we can convert this to a z-score. So we subtract where it's centered, which is at the null value of 0.5 if the null is true, divide by the standard error, so 0.5 times 1 minus 0.5 divided by the sample size of 80. And we get a test statistic of 2.683. So instead of randomizing and looking to the right of 0.65 in our randomization distribution, we've taken that and converted to a z of 2.683, and we can look in the normal distribution to the right of that, and whatever that amount is our p-value. So if we go to StatKey and we look in the normal distribution to the right of 2.683, we click on normal, we do right tail, put on the bottom our test stat, 2.683, and what we find is that our p-value is 0.0036. That's our area to the right. So comparing that to a 5% level, or alpha 0.05, our p-value is less than 0.05. So here we would reject the null, which we did when we did this in chapter 4, and come to the conclusion that we have significant evidence of the alternative. So we have significant evidence that the population proportion of children picking the box with cartoons is over 50%, or in other words, in the population, we do expect for there to be a preference for the box with cartoons.